What's up, everybody? Good morning. Thanks for hanging out with the Sports Judge. You might have heard that Broncos' new head coach, Sean Payton, unleashed criticism on his predecessor, Nathaniel Hackett. Look, he let it be known. He went all in. He trashed Nathaniel Hackett. I don't have a problem with him calling out Hackett's coaching job, saying it's the worst in the history of the NFL. Now, some people might think it's tacky and mean spirited, but it's true. Everything he said is true. Sometimes the truth hurts. The play calling sucked. The blunders he made were idiotic. The in-game decisions were horrendous. The Broncos under Hackett were an unmitigated disaster. We all saw it last season. It didn't work out. The Broncos decided to move on. They hired a Super Bowl winning coach. Everything about the offense last season looked discombobulated. Play, calls, execution, time management. Russell Wilson looking lost and confused, oftentimes harassed into awful throws. Atrocious. Every single play was like pulling your teeth. And the general consensus in NFL circles was that the Broncos were only a quarterback away from being a legitimate contender. Those were all lies. All lies. Sean Payton called out Nathaniel Hackett. He doesn't have to do this to make himself look better. Sean Payton knows what he's talking about. His comments about the Broncos, most of all, was a fair criticism of a team that was in complete disarray. We're talking about a franchise that was in shambles. I have no problem with Payton's fair critique of Nathaniel Hackett. Now, he has been apologetic since the comments, but we all know the hiring was scrutinized to begin with, and the only reason Hackett was a candidate and landed the job in Denver was because the Broncos were, remember, inclined to trade for Aaron Rodgers. Understand something here. Sean Payton is one of the great coaches in the NFL. He's a Super Bowl champion in 15 years. In New Orleans, he won 63% of regular season games. 10 times he had winning seasons. One time he had an 8-8 record, I believe. I think Sean Payton is a good guy. A real good guy. He's enthusiastic, a wonderful offensive mind, and ultimately, Payton has always been a coach who is willing to tweak his offense to put his players in good positions. And when he was in New Orleans, he established a winning culture there. In post-Katrina, he had his team competing. Truly, the Broncos will be one of the best football stories of the season, because if there's one person who can turn it around in Denver, it's Payton. He knows what he's doing, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. He knows what it takes to be a leader. And he's going to come in there and he's going to, turn things around for that organization. There's a much greater chance that Broncos fans won't wake up to a nightmare. In the context of what he was saying, it wasn't a classless shot like a lot of people think. It was accurate. It was correct. Now, was he out of line for saying it? I don't know. A lot of people feel he was. I don't think he was taking a direct shot at Nathaniel Hackett. It was entirely the organization. Everybody was to blame. He was publicly calling out Russell Wilson as well for not living up to the hype and his capabilities. But he was also defending his quarterback as well. This was also for the receivers who dropped passes left and right last season. This was directed at everybody. That's how bad it was in Denver. It was a horrendous job by a first-year head coach. It's a fair assessment of his team, and Payton aspires to do better. He wants to do better. Was it awful to trash Nathaniel Hackett being in the coaching fraternity? It's rare that a coach trashes another coach. You don't often hear that. But since the comments were made, Sean Payton did apologize. He says he wants to reach out to the New York Jets and Robert Saleh and try to make amends for his comments. And he says that he wasn't wearing his coaching cap. He was wearing his Fox cap because he used to be an analyst for Fox Sports. Do I think he was out of place for this? Do I think he was out of pocket? I think he's a man just speaking his mind. I think he's a man who was assessing the situation. He was analyzing the situation. And again, a lot of people would think this is tacky and mean-spirited. And why would you even put his name in your mouth? Why would you even go after Nathaniel Hackett? Okay, he had a bad season. He failed as a coach in his first season. We all saw that last season. You didn't need to publicly air it, but Sean Payton did. And to a lot of people, I think people are making a big deal about it because it's out of character. You don't really hear Sean Payton going after people because he's a guy who keeps his comments to himself most of the time. But a lot of people feel this is distasteful, that this is classless, that this was unnecessary, that he didn't even need to make these comments. And I think even though he apologized, he meant absolutely what he said. He meant what he said. He apologized to try to, be more professional about it and handle himself with dignity and in a different manner. But I don't think he sincerely means what he said. He just apologized to avoid receiving backlash and to try to clean up his image because he knows that people might think differently of him after making those comments. But I don't see nothing wrong with him. Give me your take on this. Tell me what you think about it and leave it in the comment column and I'll get back to you. Talk to you guys very soon. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel.